Welcome, welcome. This is going to be a chock-full lesson, full of lots of information, and so I want you to take a deep breath and just relax and enjoy it. You probably won't get everything, and that's okay. There is the handout that hopefully everybody got that has a lot of the information, and we'll be sending the link of this because we're filming it again, and so you'll be able to go back and review it. So do not freak out if you don't get it all, it's okay. But remember, part of this is you're learning a new skill. Remember we talked about learning a new language last week? So you have to practice. And today is just your first lesson, so it's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Also, just like last week, when you have a question, just write it down because we'll have time at the end and we'll answer it and we'll do some more question time. But also, be writing down the things, excuse me, like we talked about last week, the Spirit is going to teach you things that only you need to know right now. Because each of us have our own specific roles in hastening the work. And so, along with writing down the questions that you want to ask me, also write down the promptings that come to you and the ideas that come to you, because I promise you, the Spirit will teach you specifically what you can do for your circle of influence. So today, I invite the Holy Ghost to be with us. I know that we will be blessed to know the things that we can be doing to help hasten the work of the Lord. And I am so excited. So let's jump in. Everybody just kind of, this is going to be a fun day. Okay. So, we're going to review about what we're going to talk about today. We are going to delve into the social media platforms. And we're going to focus on the ones that we talked about last week, basically the most common ones. We're going to talk about the ins and outs, and we're going to talk about social media etiquette. I know it's hard to believe, but there is such a thing. And interestingly enough, as I was preparing this, when I go around and speak to young women, their social media etiquette and your social media etiquette is very different. So this was it was really fun for me to go through. Okay, so did you do your homework? What was our homework from last week? Do you remember? Okay, Anne, what was our homework?
Decide which platform you're going to use.
Decide which platform you are going to use. If today's your first day, I feel like this is a little bit, let's see. If today's your first day, last week we talked about you don't have to do all the social media platforms, okay? In fact, that's pretty crazy if you do. Only social media experts do that. And even then, they don't do every single one of them because there's just hundreds of them. So prayerfully consider which one you feel like you need to be on. And there might be two or there might be none. And that's okay because we talked about email and texting being a form of social media as well. So just listen to the Spirit and decide which one you're going to focus on. So I want to hear some of, if you already have decided, tell me some of the ones that you feel like you're inspired to do. Anne, you're nodding. Instagram. Okay, so Anne feels like, so when we talk about Instagram, you'll be ready to take notes and get all excited. Okay, what about anybody else?
Pinterest.
Okay, Pinterest. Kathy?
Tumblr.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Is it still kind of I don't know. Is that Facebook? Okay. What was the other one? Anyone? Twitter. Did Twitter jump out at anybody? Kind of. There's a kind of a tweeting, a little bit of a tweeting. Okay, good. All right, so some of you still are not decided, and that's okay. So that was your homework, and it still is your homework if you haven't decided yet. Okay, so let's review from last week. Why do we want, or why should we be sharing goodness? Go ahead and talk. What did we talk about last week? For those that weren't here, let's fill them in. Why did we talk about sharing goodness last week? Come on, don't be shy. Yes.
In the world.
Exactly. There is evil out in the world, and the internet is full of it. But what did we learn? What is technology? Who's it from? It's from Heavenly Father, and it's His tool to hasten the work, right? And so we need to be a part of it. Good. Okay, so the next one. What is our purpose?
Spread the gospel, number one.
To spread the gospel and flood the earth with righteousness, right? And light. People, this is such a dark world sometimes. It's so sad. But we have a responsibility and we have the opportunity to share light with others. Okay, and how can we do it?
Every way we can.
Exactly. Every way we can. And are we supposed to just sit and be shy and be afraid and fear and say, I just can't do this? No! This is the empowering time. You can do this. Every single one of you in here. no matter your circumstance, no matter your age, no matter your experience, whatever it is, you have a role and you can do this. So I just answered. Who can be involved? Everybody, of all ages, of all walks of life, everybody. Every single one of us has something that we can contribute to flooding the earth with truth and righteousness. Okay, so now we're going to jump into apps or internet. And this is the part where if you start hyperventilating, go ahead and let me know. I'll come over and rub your shoulders and, help you take a deep breath. So as we go through the different social media platforms, some of them are going to be, in order to sign up and stuff, you have to be on the internet. What does that mean when you're on the internet? Where would you be sitting? What would you be doing if you have to sign up on the internet, most likely? At your computer, okay? Social media can happen at your desktop. Apps, who was it last week that I was talking to that says, what is an app? And don't be embarrassed, who was it that said, what's an app? They're not here, they didn't come. I scared them off. No, an app is an application. An application that is for your mobile device. You can also have them on your desktop as well, but usually when you talk about apps, it refers to something on your tablet or your phone, and there's a joke saying there's an app for that. There really is. There are, in fact, right now, I believe in the App Store, which is, the App Store is what iPhone uses, and in the App Store, there are over 1 million apps. And you would think, what? Why? How?
I was at a movie on Tuesday, and on the screen, the movie screen, there is an app to let you know when's the most appropriate time to go potty between the shows that we're showing.
Okay, I mean, really? There is an app for that. Seriously, there's an app for everything. It's absolutely amazing. So I know, yeah. And they're being developed all the time. That's the crazy part. There are apps for everything. So as we talk about the different ways to use the social media platforms, some of them are going to require you to first start on your desktop and then go to the app, and vice versa. Some you have to sign up on the app, and then later you can use on your desktop. So we'll go through that. So in order to do that, you need to know how to purchase and install an app, right? So depending on your device, if you have an iPhone, an iPod, or an iPad, you would need to go to the App Store. And that is most likely on your home page. It's a little icon that I will show you right now. You see that right there? Oh wait, sorry, I did that too fast. On the top right there, App Store, it looks like a little A, that's App Store. And that is, go ahead and look on your home page and see if you can find it. That's where you buy your apps for an iPhone, iPad, or iPod. It will ask you your login, and that is usually where people start to say, wait, I can't buy an app or get an app because I forgot my, what is it called, my Mac ID, your login. So you need to make sure you remember that, okay? Now, I don't have a screenshot of the Google Play Store, but how many of you are on Android devices? Raise your hand so I know how many. Okay, so okay, so there are a few of
I have
you.
a question.
Yes.
What is that? What is an Android? What is it?
What's a droid?
I can't hear
What's an
you.
Android? What's an Android? Alternatives to Apple.
Okay, an Android is a different kind of device. It's built on a completely different platform, and there are so many different phones and tablets. Samsung is a popular one. Name out your Droid. Razer, like, what are some of the other ones? Samsung,
Android is
Razer.
the operating system.
Say that again?
Android is the operating system.
Right, it's the platform operating system, exactly. And the apps are not, even if you have, like, for instance, my app, I've got one in the Google Play Store for Androids and one in the App Store. They are not the same at all, built completely different. And a lot of people have different devices and they say, well, I already bought your app. Can't I use it on my iPad too because they bought it in the Google Play? You can't do that. It's apples and oranges. They're completely different. So you just need to know your device and where you would get your apps, okay? So if you do have an Android device, you will be buying it on the Google Play Store. Also, if you have a Kindle Fire, you also are able to buy apps on Amazon. And that's something that, again, that is that's a whole, we should just be having like Android classes and Apple classes because they're so different. But for here, this is beginning and we're going to just be going together as much as we can, right? Okay, so that is what your app store looks like. Now, go back to this again, tap. When you purchase them, once you purchased it and you remembered your login information and you got the app, it automatically loads onto your device. And then you just have to find it. And you can do that by swiping. Just finding it is sometimes a task in and of itself. But it is there, I promise. And what you can do also is you can search. If you know that it downloaded, you can do a little search depending on your device. For iPhone, you double finger and you swipe down and a little search bar will come up. And you can type in the name of the app and then it will pop up and it will show you where it is. Usually though, when you swish or you swipe your pages, you'll be able to find it, okay? So sometimes you forget if you have downloaded an app or not. And so the easiest way to find out if you already have is to go back into the store that you bought it and search it again, and then it'll say install or buy or get or just open. That means you already have it. So that is something that we're just touching on. Remember, this is beginning, we're just touching on it today. But that's where you will find your different apps. Okay, now this is the end part. So now I'm going to go onto my phone and we're going to go live. Every time I go on a site, we're going to be looking at everything up here, okay? So I've got to hold my phone and I want to be able to watch you too, but I want to make sure that everybody can everyone can follow. The first one that we're going to do, I need to come over here. The first one that we're going to do is Facebook, okay? So go ahead and follow along with Facebook on the handout that I gave you. Facebook, before we start too, I would love for you to go through and get to know Facebook as we're doing this. So if Facebook is something that you're interested in, go ahead and jump on the internet. But if this isn't something that interests you, get off the internet so that it frees up the space for those people that want to be on. And every time that we go back and forth to the different sites and stuff, if you want to be on it, then jump on. But if you're not using it, jump off.
Well, how do you jump on and off?
Okay, very good question. If you are on a phone right now, most likely you can use your data and you don't have to even worry about Wi-Fi. If you're not worried about your data and, for instance, you have unlimited or you know that you don't use enough that you're going to be you're going to be charged for it, then go ahead and use your phone because your actual data plan, does that make sense? Your Wi-Fi would be turned off. When your Wi-Fi is turned on, you're going to need to access the church, and it's, what is it? Pioneer 40, capital P, Pioneer 47. But imagine if all of us are on that, it will bog down the internet and we won't be able to it'll be really slow and sluggish, okay? So, did that answer your question? If you want to be on or off of the internet? Okay. All right, I will show you, Sheila. Okay, so do you see this right here? Okay, I'm going to be like a little monkey right here with lots of, okay, this little cog wheel or the wheel cog thing up there, that's your settings. And that's where you are going to go in and you're going to turn on your Wi-Fi, okay? As you scroll down, actually no, you don't scroll down. It is there, very top. See up there? Can you see up there where it says Wi-Fi? Right now, I'm on my own hotspot called Little Dude. And that tells me what it is. But if I want to go on there and I want to go in and Pioneer, I think Pioneer 47 pops up, doesn't it? Or no, LES Access. Do capital P. So Pioneer, and then there's no space. I don't believe there's a space.
And just the number 4.
Right. And did it work?
And then join.
Yeah, and then join. Okay, it did do it. Good. So get on the internet right now if you want to do Facebook. If you don't be on the internet, at least this one, unless you have your own hotspot. Some people have that, or unless you're on your data plan. Okay? So just so you know, if I do want to be on my data plan, I turn this thing right here. Oh, I do it to myself. That right there, you just touch the button. If I turn it off, I'll take off my Wi-Fi and I want to keep on right now. But that's how you do it, okay? And then that will use your data plan for your phone. Okay, so let's go to I'm going to go down here. If I want to go on the internet now, I'm not at my desktop, but I can still get on the internet right here on my Safari, on my phone. Okay, so this is the web, and I'm going to tap on that, and I'm going to go to my Facebook. And this is just facebook.com. Okay, so in order to sign into an account, or in order to log in, or in order to sign up for an account, I already have accounts on all these things that we're going to be looking at, so you're not going to actually see the step through, but they're really easy. You would literally just go to facebook.com, and there's a button in it. This whole thing, I take you through the whole thing. It says, if you see the sign-up form, fill out your name, email, address, and then I just put on there, you don't need to put your phone number on it. It makes you think that you need to, but you don't. So don't give any information you don't want to. They make you think that you're supposed to, but you can still sign up for an account without giving all the information, okay? Then it'll ask you for a password, your birthday, your gender, that's up to you too. You don't have to put that information in if you don't want to. If you don't see the form, it just will say sign up, and you just tap sign up, and you continue and you put all that information. Now, what did we talk about last week about passwords? When you make a password, what was my tip? Who remembers it? Screenshot. Take a screenshot. When you've got all that information in there, take a screenshot. Who remembers how to do a screenshot? Did you go home and practice?
Home button.
Okay, if you're on a phone, if you're on an iPad or an iPhone or even an iPod, it's not the top, it's your bottom button, it's your home button, and the top one simultaneously.
So that would go in your photos or your gallery, right?
Exactly.
That seems a little bit scary from a security standpoint.
You're right, it is. And that would be really scary because if somebody got your phone, they would know all your passwords. So what you could do is, remember when you take your phone and you put it onto your desktop, you could either put it in a special folder on your desktop so you only know where it is, or you could hurry up and memorize it and never have to use it again. But it's just something, for me, when I see something visually a few times, then I remember it a lot better. As soon as you have it memorized, yes, I would take it off.
And then also when you put the password in, usually it just has those little dots, so you can't see what it says.
Well, there is a way to say, on some of them, there's a little thing that says, I can't remember how it's worded, show me, and it'll say that right there, yeah. Like in Instagram, there aren't the little dots, you can actually see it.
Anna keeps a little address book with her password in.
The old-fashioned way, I mean, isn't that awesome? Just write it down. And Tammy has do you want to share this?
Go ahead.
I don't know if I can remember. Listen to what Tammy has done, and she says she never forgets her passwords. You want to come up here?
Well, I take the first 3 letters of, like, my name, and the last 4 numbers of a number that I can always remember. And in between, I take 3 letters, and the first one is going to be the capital letter of the site that I'm on. So, for example, if it's Facebook, it would be the first 3 letters, and then capital F-A-C, and then the 4 numbers. So, does that make sense? So when you go to Instagram, it's your 3 letters, and then capital I-N-S, and then the 4 letters. And so you can never forget. So even if you're on Twitter, you guys get the pattern? Okay, so it's really an easy way to memorize and remember your passwords. It works every time.
Yeah, I love that. And she is the organizational queen, so of course she's got her passwords even organized. I love it. Thank you. Okay, so let's just go on Facebook, and we're just going to kind of get a feel of what the wall is and the news feed and all of that, okay? So this right here, you'll be able to see on the top, this little place right here, there's a little camera icon, and that's where you can actually change this right here. So when I did that, this is telling me how to get notifications, okay? This is what I want to warn you about, okay? One thing that Facebook is a little tricky about, they're always changing the privacy settings and the privacy policies, and one day I had somebody message me and let me know, your cell phone number is displayed for all to see. And I was like, wait, what? How did that happen? Because I had turned on my text message because I wanted to get notified that way, and then that automatically shared my phone number, and I did not like that. So I was very thankful that this friend gave me a heads up, and they had just changed that policy. So whenever I would suggest going into your notifications frequently and just kind of making sure that things are all on the up and up. That's why I just stopped getting my phone number. I took it off my profile information, everything. They don't need to have my phone number. No one needs to have it, right? But you can, these are the different ways that you can receive notifications, okay? Then you can go in and you can actually say, okay, what notifications do I get? Close friend activity, birthdays, your friend's life events. You can go in and you can actually tap like, okay, close friend activity. I have this checked saying, only those that are my close friends do I want to know what's going on. I could uncheck that if I wanted to. And the way that you know if it's a close friend, remember at the very top where we have this right here and we find our friends, you would tap on somebody and again, the little arrow that's over on the side, you would be able to say, they're my close friend or they're my family, and you can kind of categorize your friends. Isn't that interesting? So that's one way. Now, see, right now, I want to get out of this right here, but how do I get out of it? I'm going to tap and go back. Okay? So sometimes you look at a screen, you're like, I don't see the back button. You start to panic. There's always a way back. There's always a step back, so don't panic. Okay, so then...
Wait. So where did you tap?
I tapped the very bottom of my phone so that this dashboard popped up. And see, if I tap right here now, watch. It takes me back there again. So this right here is where I went back. And all I did was tap on the bottom part to bring that up. Okay? So again, I want to go back again because I showed you those notifications, so I want to go back. So now I'm back on my news feed. So let's go to search, and we're going to go search somebody. Okay? Let's search somebody in this room. Who has a Facebook that we would like to search? Come on, don't be shy. Okay. So, Joa Skidmore. And then W, is it E-I-N? Oh, E-I-N. Okay, so we're going to search Joan Skidmore. There she is. I'm going to tap on, see, and right here, does anybody know who Charlotte Mann is? Yes. See, isn't that fun? So you're like, I didn't know Charlotte was on. Oops, I'm doing this to myself. I didn't know Charlotte was on here. This is so fun. So I'm going to tap on Joan and look at that cute picture of her. I love it. So if any of you didn't know, she is the steak amazing accordionist. Is that what word? Did you say that? If you went to girls' camp, you know that she plays this. And see, right here is black, and that's okay. You don't have to have your face on everything, right? Okay. So down here, I did not know that Joan was on here, and I want to add a friend. So I'm going to tap that, and now I have requested her friendship. So she is going to, when she goes into her friends right here, that will show up and she'll be able to confirm it or delete it. I hope you don't delete it, Joan. I hope that we can be friends. So this right here is now her wall. And notice, because we're not friends yet, I don't see that much stuff. Okay, do you see that? I don't see 2014. I don't see anything for this year yet because we are not friends yet. So this is what public people, anyone that finds you, oh, she accepted my friends, now we're friends. I'm so excited. So now, if I want to message her, remember messaging is the private thing, okay? The little double bubbles is when you're just talking back and forth to each other. It's not when I'm going to go post on her wall. If I wanted to post on her wall right now, though, watch what I would do. Actually, I'm going to refresh this because it's not telling me that she already requested me, so I'm going to refresh that. And let's see if it changes. Okay, it's loading. And now we are friends. So see that? Now, right here, it tells me, oh, look at all these other people that are just sitting here in this room that are friends. We've got mutual friends. Okay, so now I can write a post on her wall. And this is where I would actually, I'm sorry, am I? Sometimes you're not expecting to have your whole wall just up on. So I'll go down. But if I wanted to write a post now, or if I wanted to share a photo, this is where I would do it. So did you see how once we became friends, I was able to see more and do more on her wall? And that can only happen if you are friends. Okay? So we have a joke in our family that when I say something about somebody, I'm like, oh, that's my friend. My kids will say, is that a virtual friend or a real friend? Because you have a lot of friends out there, all virtually, but really, we're the real friends right here, right?
You can also set it so that no one can write a post on your wall or no one can share a photo.
Yes.
And the other thing is, I like to tell people on the comment section, if you spelled a word wrong, rather than post after your thing, I'm sorry, and you correct it, just hit that arrow and go in and edit your post.
And you can edit.
They haven't always had that, but that
True.
saves you from posting 3 times correcting your spelling.
Right.
Have you seen that on Instagram?
Yes. You can do that on your post, but not your comment. Which, yeah, and we'll get to.
Once it's done, it's done.
Exactly. So every platform, Kay just said, you can't do that in Instagram. You can do it on your post, but not your comment. And every platform has their own little ins and outs, and that's what we're learning. You can do all these things. But the way that you find out how you can do those things, I'm going to show you up here. You see those little lines right there? Whenever you see the little lines, that means there's more. So always tap on that because you'll be able to see a lot more stuff. Now what this is this starts telling me all these things about, here are my messages, here are events. I can find out what's trending. I can see how many friend requests I have. These are the different pages that I'm involved. These are different groups that I've been added to. There's just a whole bunch of stuff. This is where you can go in and add who is your close friends, who's your family, who is involved in the parts of my life that matter, right? I know, can you believe? You can actually say a lot about your stuff on here. Well, and the reason I have my high school on is because, I'm going to say how old I am. Our 30-year reunion is coming up. And so this right here means that I can connect with all my friends for our 30-year anniversary. Anniversary? Reunion, yeah. I guess it is an anniversary too. So this also is where, right here it says apps. These are all some different apps that are automatically in. I don't have very many apps. You can see all apps, but I don't want to. But this is what I wanted to point you to, right here. The help and settings. This right here is where you can set all those different things that you were talking about. You can set who can see your wall. You can set if nobody sees your wall. If you ever have questions, every single thing you need to know about Facebook is right here in the Help Center. Okay? So, newsfeed preferences. This will tell you, if I want to click on that, this will be able to tell me what I want to see in my newsfeed. Remember, newsfeed was right here, all the people that I'm friends with and that I follow and stuff. Okay? This is where I'm able to, this is what I've seen most this week. Okay? You can go in and see the people that you're following. Now remember, there's a difference between the people and the fan pages, right? So these are just individuals. Pages are what I was talking about with the fan pages. And this is where like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormon, so all those would come up. And then if you're in any groups, this is where it would come up. Now I want to show you something that happened to me last week. I was accepted, somebody else commented. Not accepted, I was invited to a group that I don't want to be a part of. And so it was really bugging me because I kept getting all these messages saying, this group wants you to, this is what's happening in your group. And I'm like, what is going on here? So the way that I go to, actually I can go to groups. Okay. Actually, she's not even in here. Okay, well, maybe because I haven't responded. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I'm going to go to my groups right here. Okay, so see this top one right here? I got invited to, and I'm so sorry if anybody is Jamberry. I love Jamberry. I just don't want to be on the group, okay? So I want to get out of this group. So I tap on this group. There's the info about their group and everything. And I go in and I say, turn off notifications. So now, actually I can go in and get completely out of the group if I want to, but that way I don't get any notifications anymore. So all I did was, remember that little arrow? Whenever there's that arrow, it's always giving you more options. So the arrow down and those lines are always more settings.
Do you do that with people?
Yes, you can do that with people, and I will show you. Okay, let's talk about the difference between unfollow and unfriend, okay? And it's all in there. Unfriending, oops, sorry. Okay, I want to tell you, okay. The difference between a like and a friend, or accepting a friend and requesting, declining or deleting, the difference is when you unfriend, they can find out, and there might be hurt feelings. Okay? But if you unfollow, you can choose what to hide, whether it's everything they post or when they post every 5 minutes, something like that. You can actually go in and filter what they want. Do you want to see how to do that? Do you feel like you want to see how to do that? Okay, so that means I need to go to one of my friends. Actually, let's go back to... Okay, I'm going onto my page, and I'm going to go to my comments, because I want to find some friends that I'm actually friends with. Okay, so my friend Lori, okay? I'm tapping on to, okay, sorry, I didn't point. I tapped on her name, on her little picture. That will take me to her page, okay? Do you see these? Oops. These little dots right here, again, that's another way of saying that there's more. I'm going to click on that. And this is where I can see our friendship. I can poke, which is an app just saying, hi, how you doing? I can suggest friends for her, I can report, or I can block. Okay. So that right there is how you would, blocking is considered unfriending. So they would see that. Okay? But now, oops, okay. Now, I'm going to go up.
So does it tell them, so-and-so just blocked you?
If you want to use me as an example.
Do you want to do you? So you won't get your feelings hurt. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to, let's go back to Joan then.
Yeah, except for
We still will.
Facebook and they send it.
Okay, there she is. Okay, so let's go to Joan now, and I'll show you. Okay, so we're friends right here. I'm trying to see what else. I know that there's actually... Oh, there's more information about you. I'm trying to remember where it actually says.
Ronna, I'm pretty sure if you block somebody and they get too many, then they get reported to Facebook. So that's different than not following them, or even in that. Usually when they post, when you see their wall, when you see their comments on your wall, then there's an arrow and you can go up and unfriend them. But if you block, that's like they're sending out spam or something.
Well, and that's the unfriend, and they see it. They will see that you blocked them, and so that's the part. So I think you're right. If Joan were to put something on my wall, and I went in and I said, I don't like.
Or just, now you're going to see her feed. She doesn't even have to put anything on your wall, but now you're going to see her feed.
I can still see her feed, but she cannot put anything on my wall.
Well,
Yeah, that's what blocking
Yeah.
is. She can't do anything. So if you don't want anyone to be putting anything on your feed or posting pictures of yourself,
Right,
yes,
right.
exactly. Okay, so remember that. Look for the two things: unfriend and unfollow. Blocking, that sounds pretty harsh, and that is. I mean, it's pretty. Unfriend and unfollow, I think, are a little bit deceiving, and so you're not sure who can see what. But that's why on the paper, did you get the handout? It says that it tells you what the difference is. Unfollow is when you can hide a post and they don't know that you did that. Okay, there was another hand. Who's got?
So like on your kids' Facebook, if you want to go in and block friends without them knowing, is there a way to do that?
It has to be, if you're logged in as them, only they can be doing
If I
that.
can get onto their account, is there a way will it show
Yeah.
them?
And do you know what? I think it's completely okay, and I think it's really appropriate to be open with your kids and say, okay, I saw this post. How did this make you feel? And really, I think it's important to educate our teenagers and our youth to say, this is cyberbullying, or this is inappropriate, and say, you have control over whether or not this person says anything else to you, and you can block them. I don't think there's anything wrong with having an open dialogue with your teens and saying, this made me uncomfortable, how do you feel about it? And talk about how you feel, because social media has a lot to do with feeling, and that's why the spirit has to be so important, because a kid sees something that just makes them feel horrible about themselves. That's not Heavenly Father and the technology that it's supposed to be used as. That's Satan trying to get to them. And you as a parent have the responsibility and the love to share with them and say, that's not happening. So that's how I talk to my kids. And I know that every kid is different, and so we have to be prayerful. But yes, go ahead and talk to your child and say, let's block that person, because that wasn't very nice. Okay, so I'm trying to think of the last thing that we wanted to look at. We get more settings, ins and outs. Okay, let's talk about the editing. The last thing for if you want to edit something. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my feed. Remember, this is my wall or my feed. And let's say, and I actually left this. I saw that I did this morning and I went, oops, I did this post today and I took a quote. See right here, you can say see more. I took a quote from President Monson and I also wrote some other things and did a little image with that and stuff, but there is a misspelling in there, okay? And as I posted it, I went, oh, and I went to go edit it, but I thought, no, this is perfect for the class. Okay, so if something happened and you went, oh no, this is on my wall and I want to be able to edit that, this little arrow down here is how I would do that, and I would tap on it. And this is where, if I didn't want anyone to see it, sometimes you'll put some information on. Sorry. Oh well. I know, it's so weird. Oh, there it goes. Okay. You can hide from your timeline if you don't want anyone to see. You can edit the post. You can edit privacy, which means you can make it so that only people, some certain people can see it. You can delete the post, or you can turn off notifications, which I should have done at the beginning of the class so that everyone couldn't see all those notifications that were happening. But so I'm going to edit my post. So I'm going to tap on that. And this is where you can just take your cursor and I'm trying to see where it was. It's up to us. Where was it? Okay, we can make a huge difference in our, is what I meant to put right, in our lives. So I can say done. And then I will say save at the very top. That means it sticks, right? And then that was how I was able to edit my post. So you see, you have a lot of control on your posts when you put them on a wall. You can say who's going to see it. You can just do a lot of things. Now, remember how we talked about hashtags? So these hashtags are live links now. So you could actually go in and you could tap share goodness and you could see all the other people that are sharing goodness. You could go up and tap President Monson and you can see all the different posts about President Monson. Okay? So remember, hashtags are also live links when you do it the right way. Once you're on social media, you've got to be vigilant about keeping yourself safe. Payments, dashboard, followers, notifications, privacy. This is where you would go in for the privacy, and security. This is another way where you can go in and you can say, like with your kids and stuff. As we get more advanced, we're going to go into parental controls and things like that I believe is an open dialogue for families and stuff that you should be talking about. This is what our family is going to do to be safe, basically. And then general is another place where you can go in, you can tap, and this is also where you're able to, see that right there, your phone, that's where I had to go in and say, oh, my phone was there, I had to take it out. So those little dots and lines, they're always usually on the right side, they're your friends. Go in there, explore. That help center, if you ever have any questions about Facebook, it basically has everything you need to know, okay? So just explore. But that's Facebook in a nutshell. There's so much more that it can do, but that was just scratching at the surface, okay? So, let's go on to, okay, that was the most in-depth one probably because there's so much to do with that. I'm going to show you some Twitter ins and outs, and I'll go through these a little bit faster. It's the same thing with signing up. You'll be signing up on Twitter.com. So this one is one where you do on your desktop first, and then you go to the app. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, and these will just be the ins and outs. Okay, so when you tweet, remember we learned last week, you don't Twitter, right? I didn't Twitter something, I tweeted something, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you. Right here is my home. Down here is my timeline. Those are basically the same things, okay? When I am on Twitter, this is like my feed right here on home. And so I can scroll through and I can see all these people that I'm following, okay? Now I'm going to teach you what it means to retweet and to subtweet and all these other things, okay? Because your kids are doing this. Let me tell you. Okay, when I see something, in fact, I'm going to search right here. Do you see this little search button? Same thing. Usually on all of the social media, this little search button is that little magnifying glass is the search button. So whenever you want to search somebody, you can do it. So I'm going to search LDS Church, okay? And look, there they are, right very up on top. I want to tap them, and this is their profile, okay? This is their Twitter profile. If you want to follow them, you touch this button. I am following them, so it says that I'm following. This is their information. This is their live link. This tells you how many followers, what they're, who they're following, and this is a good way to find out who you want to follow. Because if LDS is following somebody, let's see who it is. So I'm going to tap on that, and you're going to die at who they're following. I love it. Dieter F. Dunkdorf, Dallin H. Oaks, Thomas S. Monson. I mean, they all have Twitter accounts. Isn't that awesome? And you'll see some of them. Elder Bednar and Elder Holland are probably the most tweeting. They tweet the most. And so let's tap on Elder Bednar. I am following him. And you can go through and you can see what he's tweeted. And you can read the things that he's tweeting. Now, let's say this right here. He says, as you set goals for the new year, remember the small, steady, incremental spiritual improvements are what the Lord would have us make. I like that. So I want to retweet that, which means everybody that's following me is going to read that tweet. So the way I retweet is these little two arrows right there. It kind of goes back and forth. I'm going to hit that. And I have the option to retweet it, which means it just goes exactly the way he says it. Or I can quote the tweet, which means if I quote the tweet, this is me tweeting it, his name, everything right here, and then I would be able to quote something. But do you see that little red number up there? It exceeds the character amount that you can have. So I don't really have room to quote it. So I'm going to go back, my X, I did my little X, and I'm just going to retweet it. Okay? So that just lit up right there, meaning that I retweeted it. Okay? Now, I want to like that as well, or favorite is how they call it. Whoops.
So when you retweet it, does your name show up as you're the one?
Yes, I will show you what it looks like. Now, down here on me, do you see that? Sorry, guys. Down here, me, that's my account, and it just says that I retweeted him. Okay? So anyone who's following me will see, oh, David A. Bednar, I didn't know he was on there. Follow him. Did someone have something else? Go ahead. You want to say something? No? Okay, I thought you said so. Okay. So that's how you would retweet something, okay? So when you're following somebody, okay, let's go back to him. Not that I would ever want to block Elder Bednar, but if somebody made you uncomfortable or you thought this is not what I want to have happen here, this little wheel cog right here, this is how you could mute him, which I don't want to do that either, which means when he tweets, you don't see it. You're still following, but you don't see it. You could block or report if something was, turn off notifications, turn off retweets. This is all kind of advanced stuff, but that's kind of how there are safety things that you can do on social media. You're not subject to anybody who wants to follow you or subject to what other people are saying all the time. You can mute, you can block, you can do all those things. Okay, so now I want to show you, there was no one here that was going to do Twitter, right? So I'm just going to kind of gloss over this, okay? So back to, if somebody says DM me, direct message me, just like how we were talking about on Facebook, down here the messages, those are private messages. Direct messaging is the way that you say that. And so when you tap on that, then you're able to write a message or people can message you, okay? Then down here on the bottom with the little bell are notifications, and this is where people that use your name, so see, @RonnaFair is my name, and so whenever they use that, that's how I see who is interacting with me. And so I can go back and say, somebody said, so true, happiness is a choice and we're all responsible. So I like that, and I want to retweet that because that was awesome. Okay? So do you see how that can be another way to be sharing goodness in really quick formats? Like we talked about last week, Facebook was more of our lunch date, remember? That's why it took a little longer to talk about. A lot more goes on there. Twitter is your high five. This is so much fun. Hey, what's going on? And so this is a lot quicker. This also is what a lot of teens are using for texting. And so they'll be in school. I know when my kids have hacked into their high school internet because I can see what they're tweeting. And I'm like, oh, so I get on there and say, hey, how's your lesson going? How's your, Tally and I have some ongoing little jokes about when she sees me tweeting. But really, I mean, it is a good way to keep in contact. You can also, just so that you know, if I want to click on this tweet right here and I want to see what the interaction was, you can scroll up and you can see that this tweet was in response to this tweet. And that's another way that you can see what your teens are doing. Because if there's a long thread going on, which is subtweeting, you can go through and you can see the whole story of what that one tweet meant 3 days ago because they didn't think their mom or their dad was on. And when you see the whole story, you can see exactly what happened. So just, be aware of what's going on and be aware of what your kids are tweeting and encourage them to share goodness. They are the generation that knows how to do this. They don't need this class, but I do believe that they do need to learn how and when and what to be sharing. And you can do that. You can help them.
Is this something you do on your desktop or only on mobile?
You start out on your desktop, and then it is an app. So I'm in the app right now, okay? And so this is something that the kids, really, it is quite amazing to see how often they use it. I'm amazed. I thought Instagram and Facebook were the thing, and this is where they're all at.
I was going to say, it's amazing what you learn about your kids and their friends on Twitter. That's if you want to know about their friends.
Yeah, if you want to know what they're saying, what the lingo is, if you want to know what they're talking about, what the next party is, you can get on Twitter and you can find out a lot. And like I said before, talk to your kids about it. Say, hey, I saw that so-and-so did this, and then they'll get the, and then you can say, so what did you think about that? It really, and it's not like you're catching them. That's the other thing I tell my kids. I'm like, I'm not spying on you. I'm not trying to, shout you out and say, oh, you did a bad thing. But I want you to be aware that this is what it's looking like, or this is what it's feeling like, and then talk about what you can do to change that. Or, how about, yay, for you. You retweeted President Monson's quote. That was awesome. I retweeted you. Things like that. So you can do stuff with Twitter. I am losing my voice. Okay, so that was Twitter in a nutshell. Again, that was really, really short. But now we're going to go to Instagram. Now, Instagram is another one that you start out by signing up, but this is the one that you have to sign up on the app. So you have to have the Instagram app in order to get involved in this one, okay? And this is what the Instagram app icon looks like. Sorry, right here. This little Instagram, it's a little camera. So remember, this is the one that was your brag book or your scrapbook, and this is the one where you open up. And again, when you're to the point where you want to sign up for your account, you can go in and you can, you can go through the whole, I've got the whole sign up shebang right here. You can go do that. But we're going to get started and I'm going to show you what the ins and outs of Instagram are. Now this right here, do you see this little icon? This is the me again. This is my Facebook, or this is my account right here, okay? So you can put your picture, whatever. I've got my app icon on here. And when you find the social media platform that you're most comfortable with, that's where you spend your most time. Instagram is mine. This is where I have the most followers. This is where my voice, I feel like I can, because my whole business is visual. And so Instagram is visual, and that's why I chose that. But so you can edit your profile up here, and this is where you would actually go in. And when you signed up for your account, it lets you say what your name is. You can do any name you want. I just stuck with my name because that just made sense for me. This right here, that little edit button, is where you would upload your picture for the little circle. Your name or your handle would be @RonaFair. And that's what I forgot to say about Twitter as well. That sign is your handle as well on Twitter. So Facebook doesn't have that. It's just your name. But Twitter and Instagram are the @ signs. And I'll tell you that a little bit. Then this right here is an actual link that you could put in. Instagram does not let you put live links in your posts, but it does allow you to have one live link right here. And I change this up all the time. During Christmas, it was the He is the Gift video, and because I shared a post about it, and then all through Christmas, people could just click on that. There's a little thing, and this will be more in the advanced, but do you see how my link starts with the bit.ly? This is an app where you can track where your activity is coming from. So whenever I attach that, I have a specific tracking so I can see how many clicks I get through. When I shared the He is the Gift, thousands of people were clicking in, and they probably weren't all Mormon. So it was pretty awesome to be able to see how many people were clicking on that. Right now, this is our 12-week course, week 1 that we just did. I offered that to people that are not in Utah, and so they're downloading it. And so that is my live link right now. You can have a link to a blog. You can have a link to LDS.org. You can have a live link to anything that you want, but that's where you would put it. Then you have a few words, and this I have maxed out my characters right here about how many I can say on this. Thank you. Oh, I did have some.
Okay.
I just forget. I like to talk too much, I guess. And then if you ever need to change your password, it's down there. Scroll down here some more, and you can actually have a private Instagram account where no one can see you unless they follow you. You have to accept them, so it depends on why you're on Instagram. But that is an option. So that's right here is where posts are private. That's where you would change it. This is private information. You have to put in your email because they send you a verification, but you do not have to put in your phone number or your gender. You can put in whatever you want, but I just chose not to. Okay, so I'm going to hit done up here because I was done editing my profile. So all that we just talked about, oh, an unknown error occurred. That's weird.
Ronna, can I ask, what is the difference between the two names at the top?
It's your username and your handle name. And really, I think they're the same. That's why I did them the same. Some people like to have their name and I don't know why it's doing this. I'll show you what it looks like. Which one is which on your actual profile. I'm not sure why this is happening. Because for instance, if you had a business and you wanted the top name, okay, this is really weird. I'm going to get out of Instagram. I'm going to go back in. If your top name was your business name, but then you wanted your full name to be associated with it, that would be the name that would be underneath. Okay? So, for instance, up here, this is it. Ronna Fair would be the name on the very top, and then this would actually be whatever name you wanted to. So let's say you were LDS Church and you were President Monson. Do you see? You could have two different ones. I happen to have the same. I could actually have Ronna Designs right there and then Ronna Fair down there. Something like that.
People could find you either one.
Exactly. Okay, so this is what it looks like. There's that live link that I was telling you about. Now let's talk about our dashboard. Remember I said every time you look at something going across, it's called your dashboard. These little squares right here tell you how you're going to see the feed that you're looking at. So right now it's just kind of a checkerboard, and all these little squares are different posts. If I wanted to change the lines, this is not the more information that we talked about before. This is where you actually go down and you see it in a different format. Okay? So that was what those little lines were. This right here, we talked a little bit about last week. This is your geotagging. This is where I tell people stay clear. This is something that will tell people exactly where you are. So unless you have a brand where you are trying to promote a business, I would suggest not letting the world know exactly where you are, especially your teens. But that's where you geotag a photo.
Like the Do Tour does that one a lot. Because they want young teenagers that are into skateboarding and
to know
skiing,
where they are.
They want to know where the Do Tour is traveling.
So there is a purpose for it, and that is okay. But I tell my kids I don't want everybody to know where you are at that very moment. Okay, and then this right here, this little icon is where when people take pictures of you, this is where you can find it. If you do not want to know if people took pictures of you and you don't really care, there is this little icon up here where you can go in, and this is what mine's on. I have to add them manually. I got so many pictures being taken of me because they were using my app, it was overloading me. So it says add manually, which means I never add it. But if you want to add automatically, like if your kids or someone want to say, oh, I took a picture of you, Grandma, or took a picture of you, Mom, that's where you would see it. Okay? So that is all you, and that is it's not really your wall, but it's your profile. Let's go to home, and this is where you see everybody that you are following. And if you'll notice, if you go back over here, I'm following 2,263 people, so my feed is very long. So if you don't want to follow a lot of people, don't follow a lot. If you don't want to see a lot of people, don't follow a lot of people. This is just kind of the same thing. This is where you go through and you can just see a lot of what's going on with a lot of your friends and stuff. Let me find somebody here. Okay, here's one there was the temple, okay? So on Instagram, you can double tap on the picture and then watch what happens. The heart shows up, and that means you liked it. Or you can go down here and you can actually tap that right there. So double tapping on Instagram is how you like it, or here. If you accidentally double, again, if you don't want to do that, you just hit the like again and you say, nope, I don't like that. But I do like this, I'm going to. So if you want to comment, same thing. You go in and you say, I want to comment and say, love this. Okay? And then I want to say send. You would hit send, and then that sticks. And so that is my comment on my friend. To go back, there's the back button. Now, if you see these lines right here, okay, if you tap on that, this is where you can tweet it, because I am on Twitter. I can copy and share that URL, or in other words, a live link, or if it's inappropriate, I can report that as well. Okay? So a URL is a live link. Sorry, I didn't know who said that. So I would be able to share that on Facebook or something like that, if that's what I wanted to do. So now I want to show you something about searching people, okay? And I want to show you kind of how comments happen. I'm going to go to the search button again, and I'm going to search. This is a page that you should be aware of. Do you see that? I don't know who is coming up. Supposedly they say this explore page is for people that have things common that I follow. But I have seen some things on here that are inappropriate. And so I try not to go on the search page very much because I don't want to be exposed to things that I don't want to see. I also talk to my kids and tell them the same thing. In fact, my son, I'm like, just plain don't search for anything. I participated in it last year, and it was one of the most amazing years I've ever had of reading the Book of Mormon. My testimony was strengthened so much because of the interaction from people all over the world. And this is something that, you'll see. Okay, first of all, they have 65,000 people that are following them. So when you tap on a day, so this was this morning, they post the reading, 3,218 people have already liked it. When you go right here, there are 98 comments. And this is all talking about today's reading. And so this is something that talk about sharing goodness. In fact, Elder Bednar, in in his talk, he talked about the couple with the Book of Mormon 365, and their story is really quite interesting. They decided as a family that they wanted to read the Book of Mormon a little bit more, and they decided that they were going to start this last year. The mom, actually, it was her son that started it. And he said, Mom, I thought this is how we would do it. And he didn't know that all these people were going to jump on. And so at first, when he and his wife started doing it, they thought it was just a family thing. And it turned into a huge, huge, amazing thing. But what made it so amazing were the comments. And people sharing their testimony. It's like having a testimony meeting every single day at your fingertips. So, okay, I wanted to show you. So, to view all those comments and to go back and read, watch what happens. If I tap that view all 98 comments and I scroll up, I can only see so many to where I see the load more comments. If you ever hit that, load more comments, it'll do it again until you go to the, watch how many times I have to do it to get through 98. Oh, there I am. I commented. Okay? So that right there is how many you'd have to go through. And then you can take the time and you can read this. This is one of the things that I found last year, that if I was waiting in line or if I was waiting for something, I was able to jump on here and read people's testimonies and talk about a shot of the Spirit. I mean, it was amazing. And then I would go home and I'd share it with my family, or I was able to talk about with my young women or things like that. So there are so many amazing avenues on Instagram that aren't just fashion or aren't, which, you know, that's really fun. I do enjoy those and stuff. But really, there's so much that you can be doing to share goodness.
How do you tell when they posted it?
I can't hear it. Say
How do
again?
you tell when they posted it?
How do I tell when they posted it? Every morning, they do it around 5 in the morning. You mean, is that the initial?
Like, does it give a time when they posted that comment?
It says 7 hours. And then it doesn't say the exact time, but then it'll say 6 hours, things like that. So you can see how far back it is. Okay?
Do you have to have an account to see that?
You don't have to have an account. You can actually see Instagram.com online. It would be /BofM365, and you could actually read everything. But if I remember correctly, there were so many comments last year that online, sometimes it got a little bit stuck. It wouldn't let you load all the comments. I never had that happen to me because I always use the app, but I think I remember someone saying that some days when there were 1,000 comments or, something like that, it just got really tricky. So I highly encourage following these people.
Book of Mormon, BofM 365 also has a Facebook page.
Yes, they do. And they also have, they did have Twitter. I don't know if they're continuing with Twitter this year. So they always have the day, they have the today's reading, and I mean, look at that. Any family, any person can take that many scriptures, and you can even couple that with some other studying that you're doing as well. And then there's the question of the day, and that's what I love, is to start thinking of the scriptures in a different way, start hearing other people's views and experiences and insights. And like I said, it is like having a testimony meeting or institute class every single day. It's amazing. There was one thing that I wanted to show you. If you want to block somebody, how to block somebody on Instagram, okay? So I don't want to block these guys. I love them a lot. But this little top button right here, you would tap that and you could block the user, report inappropriate, or again, copy the profile, like if you want to share this with somebody else, okay? All right, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. This is probably one of the easiest of the social medias to use. If you want to post something, see this down right here, this little camera, you would tap that, and then you could take a picture right now. Do you see that? I'm going to actually take a picture of you guys. No! And then I can go through, and then I can put filters on. Look at that. See, look how cute. I can adjust the brightness. I can crop it. Amy, how do you like that idea? I can do contrast. I can do warmth. I can do all sorts of things. I can put a little vignette around there. Okay, so then you don't have to do that with every single picture. But then you could say next, And then right here is where you would write your caption. You could tag people if you wanted to. This is where you would add your photo map, but again, unless you really wanted to have people know where you are. And then there is a way where you can actually connect these. That's advanced. We won't go through there. And then that very bottom one is share. And then that would go onto your Facebook page, your Instagram page. Okay? So do you see how easy that is? Super easy. Now, I'm absolutely amazed at how quickly this goes. And we're out of time because we don't have any time for the Pinterest or the YouTube or Tumblr. But what I do want you to do is I want you to take these papers, and if any of these social media channels interest you and you want to get into them, go ahead and read the ins and outs and get familiar. And next week, or email me if you have any questions, next week is more of a, we're going to delve into the actual sharing goodness and how to take the screenshot of something on LDS.org and put text on it and post it and things like that so you can actually share goodness, okay? So we'll have time to do a little bit more of the exploring. And remember, each week we're going to do more exploring and we're going to learn more, but the whole point is I want to end with...
Mama, before you end, I'm sorry to disturb you, but there is a New Testament 365 also.
Yes, there's a D&C, there's Old Testament, there are lots of them. The best thing to do is to explore, search, find the LDS accounts that uplift and inspire you, and then share it. Whatever your social media platform is that you choose, remember you have a voice, and you do not be afraid. Do not think no one wants to hear what I say, because guess what? Someone does, and someone knows. Someone knows what you need, and his name is Heavenly Father. Now I want to show you this really fast, because this is, let's see. Oh, you're going to see my whole family here. Let's see. Okay, I want you to look at this one. Okay, we are using technology to share goodness, and we want to represent our Savior's church in the best light. Pray before you post, and He will guide you to what is needed. He knows His children and who needs what. We can be His hands through social media. And this is something that every single one of you has a role in. No matter your age, I said that before. Please remember that you can do this. And I'm here to help you. There are help centers all over. You can do this. But most importantly, He's here to help you. So ask in prayer. You will be guided. Ask as a family. Talk about it as a family. How can we do this together? How can we share goodness together? Because I promise you, you will be led to miraculous things. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.